Let's see if I am. We got 2 bars of service in here in the building, so we're going to try to rock it. It's kind of loud in here. Anybody that pops in there in the chat box, give me an update. Let me know if you can hear me good. I got the good microphones, so hopefully it's going to drown out some of that background noise there. It says I got a few people in the chat box already. Well, we already got some comments here, Daniel. Let's see if anybody's popping on. I know we had to push this thing back 30 minutes because we are running way behind on getting everything set up here, y'all. There's Matthew Kepner. He says he can hear me. Jerry Ward says sounds good. All right, now we got some people popping in here. Here we go. Looks like I'm actually live on here, y'all. So live from the Catfish Conference here in Louisville, Kentucky. Getting the Catfish Sumo booth set up now. I'll try to pan around here. This is what you're going to be seeing when you come in tomorrow as far as our rods set up. We got some of them out here already. We got a bunch more. We just, you can see, we're running behind. Need some of you all in here doing some manual labor for us. So what we wanted to do on here with this kind of, live stream, Q&A, launch party, whatever you want to call it, is we knew a bunch of people had questions about these rods, different than anything on the market. They're pretty awesome. My quote here, the first time I got the first prototype, was the most badass rod ever made, is what I told Daniel. And so we knew there'd be a bunch of questions, and we thought it'd be easier just to go live. Q&A, you got me here to ask, you got Daniel, the owner of Catfish Sumo. He can answer all the technical stuff about it. So yeah, guys, that's the plan. Hope to see a bunch of you up here the next 2 days. I'm going to be here all day, open to close, tomorrow and Saturday. Let me just scroll up here and we'll start knocking out some of these questions. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm sorry about being late. We thought we'd have everything done by 5, and we're not. The window guy says we need a Golly Whopper t-shirt. I totally agree. I think I could sell 1 or 2. There's Tiffany McConkey. Brian Forrest and his horse named Toby in the house. Brian Posey says loud and clear. David Mann will see us Saturday. We'll see you then, buddy. There's Bill Coulter. Randy Baker says, do the new rods come with a banana slicer? They should. Best invention ever made, according to Daniel over here. Sir Finn's Catfishing says he'll be here in the morning. There's Bill Ward. Joey Christ says, is there going to be a discount for the rods at CatCon? Can't wait to meet you, man. Hey, glad to have you coming, man. Are you going to tell them what it is, Daniel, or do I have to? Sure. Get your daggone microphone here. He's worried about getting this up here, Daniel. So
yes, the Golly Whopper rod with the kayak extension and the boat extension is going to be $104.99. That is down from $129.99. And then you'll be able to get the bank extension for you guys who bank fish. And want to get the bank extension, normally it's going to be $19.99, but we'll have it for $14.99. So basically, for the price of the rod, you get the bank extension for free. That's what it equates to.
Yeah. And we've had some questions about that in the comment box and the other videos about the bank extension being a separate fee, and I hate that. I hate that it's a separate fee. The problem we ran into with making these rods is the bank extension is so long, we're having to buy extra blanks, and it really jacks up the cost just for that extension piece. So the option either was, well, don't do a bank extension, or have it for an extra cost. And I want the bank extension because that's something that I use. I oftentimes pull the kayak up on the bank and fish off the bank. So that's something that I needed for my signature rod. So that's the deal with the cost. But here at the Catfish Conference, one thing that we have to save on cost is the fact that we're not shipping, we're not having to package and do all that. So that helps save costs that we can pass on to you all that show up here.
It also saves you money. One other thing about having it split out is for those of you guys who just kayak fish or just boat fish, if you're never going to use the bank extension, we didn't want to require you to buy it up front by including it in the price and forcing you to buy it. We didn't want to force everybody to buy the bank extension if it's not something you'll use. So that basically just saves you a little bit of money. If you're just going to be in a boat or in a kayak, you don't have to spend the money to buy it.
Yeah. Well, I've missed a bunch. We got a bunch of comments here, Daniel. They're coming in. They're scrolling on here. Let me see if I can find my place. There's Preston Hill in the house. Myron, hi. Scrolling on down, guys. I'm sorry. We're going to try to get to as many questions and whatnot as we can tonight. Parker Todd says he's new to catfishing. What are some advice or tips he could give that I could share with him, man? Not many tips I could give you that I haven't already shared in the videos. Randy Shaw was asking how much they cost. I think we just covered that. Sunfish Assassin, there's George, says those rods look amazing. Thanks, buddy. Scroll on down. KY Catfish Chris says he'll see you tomorrow, man. We're happy to have you. Catfishing with Calls will be here tomorrow. Terry Clark says, how long was this in the works and how long till it became a reality for you? Well, the long answer to that is it's been in the works for a long time. I pitched something to a rod company a few years back before my YouTube channel was anything, and I was flat out told that I wasn't worth his time, that he would never turn a profit, and he wasn't going to mess with that. And so fast forward a few years, now I got a channel that's growing. I've got an audience, I've got a following. There's a lot more people in the kayak world that's interested in catfishing. And so, you know, I've been friends with Daniel here, the owner of Catfish Sumo, and kind of been, you know, pitching him the last few years. And when I signed that deal with him back in the spring, he was like, let's do it. And we started work right away. And so we've been through a few prototypes over the course of the last few months until we could get it dialed in with this. And I'm perfectly happy with what we've got. So it's like, let's go with this model. So the answer to your question, the long answer is several years in the making, but in the last year to make it reality. I've got some super chats up here I don't want to miss. Let me just click on Yak Nasty, $5. He says, before you got spot lock, what's the longest anchor rope you had on your previous videos? I think like 150 foot, Yak Nasty. Thank you for that super chat. You need a long anchor rope when you're fishing deep like I oftentimes do. Let me scroll down, and I missed another one somewhere. Oh, there it is. Daryl Hebron, $5. He said, hello, I've had a stroke, but glad to see you're doing well. I'm sorry to hear that, Daryl, man. That's rough, buddy. I hope you don't have any kind of limitations from it. Let me try to get some more here. There's Joe Cooper. Stephen Corley, Mississippi Live says, what is the casting weight rating? They are rated 1 to 10 ounces. However, I'll tell you, I've casted baits over a pound on these things. They can handle it, but the official specs are 1 to 10 ounces. Jeremy Colvin says he can't wait to check them out tomorrow. We'll be here waiting on you, man. Baby mama drama. Everybody got that. Says, what's up, bud? New poles look nice. Thank you. Mike Barron says he'll be there Saturday. Been wanting to meet you for forever. I'll see you Saturday. Good luck, buddy. Well, thank you, Mike. We'll see you Saturday. AA Ron 81 says, can I get the discount if I buy right now in the stream? Well, we're not set up for that, but what you can do is use our discount code, word kayak, at checkout on catfishsumo.com/Golly Whopper, and that'll bring the cost down, and shipping there is free too on the site. So that'll get your cost down on that. Thank you for your interest, man. I appreciate you wanting to buy. I wish we was set up to do that through the stream. YouTube takes 30% of anything I get through YouTube, is why we can't do that. There's my man Steve Sharon at Venture Outdoors. He says my live stream is officially a success now. He is the most famous person I've ever had in my stream. I'm pretty confident of that. Clint Payne, my man from Tennessee, back home. He says, what's the difference in the boat and the kayak? So the rod comes standard with a short handle, and that's for people like me and you, Clint. When we're in the kayak, we're sitting down. We don't need that long extension handle extending out our arms when we're trying to reel in fish, so it allows us to keep it closer to our body, and it's a lot more comfortable to fish with. Plus, it's not encroaching on us there in the rod holders. So the boat extension extends the rod handle out for if you're standing up. You know, if you're in a boat and you're in a standing position, you want that longer butt handle because you've got your leg muscles, your butt, your back, all those muscles engaged. So it's just a little bit longer handle on the boat, and then the bank extension gives you a surf rod handle, so you can make a lot longer cast. You get a lot more leverage that way. Kind of one rod to do it all, because people like me and you, Clint, you know, sometimes we in the kayak, sometimes we up on the bank. I took my finger off the screen and I lost my place. Good gosh. David Clark says you should come out with your own line of skipjack. I've been pitching that, man. I've been pitching that to Daniel. Cool Cats Fishing says he'll see me tomorrow. Brad Jones Fishing. Daniel, wherever Daniel went, this is a good question for him. So he says, going to be for bait caster and spinning reel. So Daniel, you want to take this here? Because Daniel's made these rods to where they can be either way.
Question is?
Bait caster or spinning?
Good question. I will show you exactly. So we did two things. We didn't want to have a whole bunch of, you guys have to buy multiple rods if you use some casting, some spinning. So the first thing that we did is we elongated the reel seat. You've seen a lot of metal reel seats on rods. Ours are a little bit longer. The reason is, spinning reels, a lot of times the feet will extend just slightly further. So if we base it on, I'm out of breath here, I gotta do some physical activity.
I know, you've been doing some manual labor in here today.
So the reel seat will accommodate a spinning reel. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we graduated the guides as they go down the rod. So the first one is a size 1 spinning guide. What that means is that you can use a spinning reel on here, and instead of it catching, you know, if you've ever put a casting reel on a spinning reel on a casting rod, you know that first guide's like this big around. So it's super small. So we graduated the guides so that they will accommodate a spinning reel. There's also no trigger on the back, so you don't have to worry about, you know, with your reel hanging down below, it getting in the way of your thumb. So all of that to say, it's built with two changes: the length of the reel seat and the size of the guides to be able to accommodate a spinning reel.
Yeah. About the only thing that, as far as the spinning rod goes, is the logo is on top for the casting. So if you flip it around for spinning, the logo will be on the bottom instead of the top. But great question. And you know, I don't fish with spinning rods personally for catfish, but I know a lot of you do. So we wanted a rod that could accommodate, you know, whoever out there that watches my videos and wanted these rods. We really wanted, you know, again, the goal with this rod was one rod that can kind of do it all. That's what we wanted. Let me scroll back up here. I apologize. I keep missing comments here. We're trying to do double duty, get to as many questions as we can while Daniel and David here get this booth set up. Manny Yak Catfishing says, I think this is a major breakthrough with rods. Extremely clever. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been something that I've been wanting for years. You know, I had a custom rod built a 3 years back. I won a custom rod in a tournament, and the owner of that company said, hey, I know you catfish. Let me build you a catfish rod. And so we built the best rod that I had used up to that point, specifically for kayak catfishing. And it was great in the kayak, but I don't just fish out of the kayak. Sometimes I'm on my friend's boats. Sometimes I pull up on the bank. And when I tried to use that rod in those other situations with the short handle, I'm like, well, this isn't really working for me, you know, because I don't just fish out of a kayak. So that's while this rod has all these different options. Let me see here. We got Art Vance is in that rod company and take a hike. I think he was referring to the one there that told me he would never turn a profit. It wasn't worth his time. Yeah. I think that rod company still exists, but that person is gone. Let's see. Hey, there's Sandra, Florida Channel Catfishing. Been a member for 5 months. Thank you so much, Sandra, for sticking with me through these winter months. Said should sign the rod since it was your idea. Well, they've got my logo on them. And I'll sign for anybody that wants one tomorrow. Nathan Lights, you've told me before, Nathan, and I've forgotten. It says, how's the sensitivity on your rod? And happy for you. Well, thank you, Nathan. You know, define sensitivity. For a catfish rod, fishing like I do, I don't need a sensitive rod. I need backbone to handle big fish, and I want a sensitive enough tip that small fish are still fun to catch. And this rod does that. You know, for the longest time I used ugly stick rods. Great rods, very durable, but on the bigger fish, you kind of got some bend all the way down toward the handle. And so, you know, for my signature rod, I wanted something a little bit more backbone than those, but still a tip that was light enough. So, you know, the bulk of my catches through the year are 5 pounds, 10-pound fish. I wanted those fish to be fun too. And so I think we've been able to do that pretty well with this rod. I'm gonna scroll back up to Sandra's comment there because it's lit up in green because she's a member. Well, that can be where I left off at. CJ Burton says, how much farther can you cast with the bank extension? Pretty significant, CJ. It's a pretty significant difference just from the leverage. It's all about leverage. With the short handle and the kayak version, you know, that's why all these surf rods have the long handle. That way you can get distance between your hands and really get that leverage. It makes a huge difference. I'm gonna get caught up on these comments here directly, y'all. I'm sorry, keep scrolling. We only got, well, we got 200 and something people in here right now, Zal, but man, the comments are coming. I appreciate it, man. We've had so much positivity and interest in this rods. It's been overwhelming. I'm so thankful to you. Monongola River Cats, $9.99. I may have said it wrong, but thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. Got Joey Christ says, are all the products from Catfish Sumo going to be available this weekend? Full lineup here, Daniel? Everything in the store?
Everything. One exception, which is our 6-ounce egg sinkers. I think we only have about 20 packs of them here. So
okay, there you go. 6-ounce egg sinkers. If you need them, you better get here tomorrow. He's going to be out quick. But everything else will be here. Cool's Catfishing says, can you hold one for display if you sell out early so I can see one Saturday? Well, I mean, we kind of need to do it on first come, first serve because otherwise I'm going to have everybody want me to hold. But we should have enough. I think we've got enough here to be good through the weekend, unless we just get overwhelmed with sales. You know, who knows? Clint Payne says he wants to show us the difference between the boat and the kayak. When you're done putting your display up over there, Daniel, let me step back a little bit. Boy, this looks nice, don't it, y'all? That looks nice right there. That's great for photo ops. So this right here is in the boat mode. Longer handle. You're standing up. Standing position here. Let me pretend I'm right-handed. You know, when you're standing up fighting fish, you've got your back up 2 foot. Perfect, Daniel. Perfect right there. You've got your legs, your butt, your back. Everything's engaged. So when you're reeling in fish, you want that rod butt in your belly. You need that long handle for that. When we're sitting down, I'm about to sit on this box here, Daniel. See if you got me here. This rod can go to kayak mode. And all this does here, guys, these are bolted through. These are bolts. We did not want to do telescopic because durability issues. It'd been cheaper to go telescopic. We could have brought you a rod at a much more economical price. Wouldn't have held up long term. Not in the rod holders with the takedowns you get with big catfish. So you've got a butt end, can go in any extension. And now, when you're in a kayak and you're sitting down, again, legs, butt, back, all out of the equation. It's all arms. We're doing a bicep curl. So now when I'm sitting down, you can see my elbow here, it's close to my body. When you're fighting fish, so much better body mechanics. It's such a more comfortable situation to be reeling in fish with the shorter handle. In addition to that, when you're in a kayak, most of us, we have some rod holders in front of us out here. those long handles, they cut into us. If you're trying to pedal or you're trying to land fish, you've got rod handles sticking way in on you. With this, you can put your rods in the rod holders like they're supposed to be, with your reels like setting down on top of the rod holders like they're made for. Most of the time with the longer rods, we've got our reel sticking way out toward the water. One bump and you're going to lose the whole rod overboard. This, the shorter handle here, you can put it in your rod holders like you're supposed to, and it doesn't impede on you. So that's the difference between these two. Let me go ahead and show you the bank extension while I got Daniel here holding the camera. God knows I ain't gonna get any more work out of him tonight. So the bank extension, much longer. This will make your handle 18 inches long here when you put them together. And again, those just screw in. They make a secure connection there. And again, it's a bolt. It's like a metal rod holder. It ain't gonna break. It ain't going nowhere. And this allows you, when you're on the bank, your 7-foot kayak rod now turned into an 8-foot surf rod. And I know 8 foot is, it's a little bit smaller. Most surf rods, they're 10 foot. They're 12 foot long, which you would want. If you were bank fishing exclusively, I would tell you, don't buy this rod. Go get you a surf rod, 10, 12 foot long. But us people, us guys that fish out of kayaks, we're not fishing public parks. We're not fishing these places where we have to make really long casts. We generally just need a little bit longer cast than what we can do. So this long handle here, I'm left-handed. I'm gonna go this way with it, but your reel would be here. You've got all this space here between your hands, and you can just rear back and just launch some baits. So really helpful. Really helpful versus the standard length rods that you typically have on the catfish market when fishing from the bank. So I really like it, man. I've been using these rods a lot lately. All right, Daniel, I think you're off camera duty. You did a fine job. Everybody give him a round of applause there. He's wore his arms out there holding the camera. I have lost my place. I hope I've not missed any super chats. There's been some of them here pop up. Here was one from Callie, K&K Fishing Adventures, $20. Thank you, Callie. Says, hey, Justin, can't wait to put my rod to use. I have short little arms, so I'm looking forward to being able to adjust the handle length. Recommended your rod to a buddy who does kayak and bank fishing. Well, thank you, Callie. I appreciate you ordering one. Callie was one of the first people to order there. Thank you so much for that, Callie. Ed Owens is asking if we're making a spinning rod version. We covered that earlier in the stream, so check that out earlier in the stream there, Ed. I'm going to keep moving here and try to get to many different questions as we can. Mike Barron says, do you get a rod cover with the rod? Yes, you do. Comes with a red and black. He's got one right here. Daniel's got it right here. Yeah, they all come, whether you buy it here at the conference or order one online, they come with the cover. Let me see where I left off. I feel like I'm rushing things through here. We're supposed to be out of here at 6 o'clock. We ain't getting out of here at 6 o'clock, I can tell you that. Steve's gonna have to leave us the key open, or the door open, because we ain't no way we're getting this booth done by 6. Tom Nugent, great question, says, do the extensions float in case I drop it off the boat? Yes, they do. That was one of the first things I told Daniel. I was like, I'm a klutz. If I'm trying to put an extension on out there on the bank or the water or something, I'm going to drop it overboard. So yeah, you go overboard, they float. Great question. Where'd I go? I took my finger off the screen. Man, I'm so far behind on this. Such a good problem to have though, right? Have this much interest in it. Christopher Brody, join the Catfish Club. Thank you, Christopher. Glad to have you, man. Thank you for joining. Chad Clements, $5, said you should have a signature model Justin's Golly Whopper. Well, it's the signature rod, man. We got it. Thank you for that super chat. Jerry Ward was asking how the extension works. Hopefully you were watching there when I just went over that. There's Christopher, says just joined as a member of Kayak Catfishing. Man, I'm glad to have you. James Cardwell said he was hoping to make it up here, but don't think it's going to happen. Well, hopefully I'll run into you at some point down the road there, James. Jeremy's tournament cast said they're going to sell like hotcakes. I hope you're right. Catfish Sumo's put a lot of money into my idea, so I hope it works out for them. Augustin Pedraza says, do they take PayPal as a form of payment?
Sure do.
Do you?
Yes, on the website when you go and check it. Well, if you're here, just catch me and we'll just do it separate through our phone. But if you're doing it on the website, then when you get to the PayPal, to the payment page, the website tries to be smart and it'll just pull up whatever you paid for last, anything online. But if you don't see PayPal there, up at the top it says like more ways to pay or express pay or something like that. If you click that, it'll show you every way to pay right there.
There you go. Most of these companies make it pretty easy to take your money. They find ways to do that. Boy, there's a lot of comments. Clint says that's a great rod to do it all. Thanks, Clint. That was the goal. Philip H says, are you selling rods this weekend from the conference? Yeah, Philip, I'll be up here both days in the Catfish Sumo both. We're getting it together now. We're way behind, but we got the banner back here. We got my banner here. On the back side of the booth here, we're going to have like a photo area if you want to get your people that want their kids, get pictures with me and stuff. We'll have like a little photo area with a white backdrop, hopefully get some good lighting. Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to meeting a bunch of people. You know, I'm kind of a recluse. I don't go out in public and groups a lot, you know, so this is a good opportunity for me to put faces with a lot of people I see comments regularly from. Joey says, are all the products going to be there? Yes, they are. Scroll on down. Mike Barron asked, how much does it cost to get into the conference? That's a good question. I don't know the answer. Do you know, Daniel? I have no idea. Check out the Catfish Conference Facebook page. You should have information there. They've also got a website. Should be able to tell you that. There may be a parking fee too. I'm not sure.
What's the fishing?
Kevin Palmetto Cats is here. You're live on YouTube.
You really got somebody famous on your channel.
Finally.
First time ever.
Could you tell your audience to come join because you know, my views are slacking these days.
Oh, looks like you're making some money.
Well, I got friends on there.
I heard it's got to be all about the fish.
I got friends on there, Kevin.
You got friends?
Yeah. He's going to be here. Guys? Golden Whiskers Awards tomorrow 5:30?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay.
And they can either be here and watch it. They need to be here and watch it.
Okay.
But if you can't, live on my channel.
And those awards, they're real gold, right? Okay, I can go straight from here to the pawn shop if I'm fortunate enough to win one.
Yeah, or you can wear it during love making again.
That's what I do. I got a championship belt I wear during that too. Sometimes you walk out of the shower and that's all you got on. You're like, bedroom, huh? The champion. That's the one thing I'm good at, Kevin. Tell all the women. I'll get in trouble with that when I get home from the girlfriend. Here's a good question. Richard Martinez, Daniel, says, when do pre-orders get shipped out?
Don't tell anybody, but if you have already placed your pre-order on the website, it already got shipped. And our goal is to have it show up to you before you start going, I wonder when that thing's going to start shipping. So the pre-orders already are starting to ship out. We wanted to get caught up because we knew we were going to be behind on those. So if you place your order online, it's going to get shipped out by today. If you place it today, it'll go out tomorrow. Place it tomorrow, it'll go out Monday.
All right, there you go. All right. He's efficient down there. He's got a new warehouse set up. We did some filming the other day for another project that'll be announced later on, and they got a pretty nice warehouse, pretty nice operation happening down there. Let's see. That damn fishing guy, $20 says, can I get a channel shout out? I'm stuck at 216 for whatever reason. Put out a good video. Yeah, there you go, man. Y'all check out that damn fishing guy. Appreciate the donation, man. Master Ninja says, how strong are the handle connection points? I personally worry about that. They're pretty strong, man. I mean, it's a bolt here, but it's not a bolt that's so long that it's going to be easy to bend. You're going to have a hard time bending that. Very hard time. Hey, we got the man, the legend here, Steve Douglas. They're wanting me to ask you, can we stay a little past 6 p.m. tonight? Because I'm holding them guys up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to because I got several guys coming. Still 90 minutes away.
Okay.
So I'll probably be here at 10 o'clock.
Okay, well, good, good. We're not going to keep him up all night, but.
But yeah, if you guys that don't know who you're looking at right here, this is Kayak catfishing.
You all are live while I'm live. How about that?
Everybody's live.
Everybody's live up in here.
Well, good to have you here.
Hey, thanks. It's good to be here finally.
Let's see. About you bring a kayak?
I did not. Didn't think we'd have room for it. I should have.
Let's go next time. Bring a kayak.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can do some things here.
Yeah.
All right. Good
Hey,
deal.
we'll see you, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Steve Douglas, the man himself. All right, let me get back to some questions here. Got a lot of stuff happening up in here. We got Catfish Bandit $4.99. This is awesome looking rod. Can't wait to meet you tomorrow. Well, thank you for that, and I'm looking forward to meeting you too. Think it's going to be a fun weekend. There's Chris with Hooks and Hammocks, $10. Says, I'll be taking a couple home with me. See you tomorrow. Hey, they'll be waiting on you, Chris. Thank you for that super chat, man. Rustic Outdoors says, where can we get those rods besides there at Catcom? If you go to catfishsumo.com/Golly Whopper, you can order them right now. Order tonight, it'll get shipped tomorrow. Anthony Burchett says, can you use the bank and boat handle together to make an extra long handle? That's a great question. It's not really something we recommend. It's just a lack of function. Once your handle gets that long, the handle almost becomes too cumbersome to cast. I've tried it personally. I thought, well, maybe that would give me some, extra. We go from 8 to 8.5 foot at that point, but it really doesn't help with the casting, and it's almost too long at that point. So not something that we recommend doing. Oh my goodness, I've lost my place again, Daniel. Oh, here we go. Now I'm back. Spider Skull HD says, is the tip lighter than the other rod? If you're referring to like the ugly sticks I used to use, it's heavier than that. Comparable to more of like the Master Series 2.0. I think that's a pretty good comp for it as far as the tip goes. There's Ed, my man, from Oklahoma, $9.99. Thank you so much, Ed. His daughter, Ivana, is a big fan of the show. Aviana. I butchered it. I'm terrible with names, Ed. Tell her I'm so sorry. But she is a very cute kid, has her own YouTube channel there. Into rabbit shows. She's awesome. Catches some big fish, too. Catches bigger fish than Ed. Chasing Trophy says, are you guys going to be at the Catapalooza in June? I can't make it at the Catfish Conference because my wife just had a baby. Well, congratulations, man. Congratulations on that new baby. As far as Catapalooza, I probably won't be able to make it. It's in June. It's close to the house, but that's prime time. That's when I got to be cranking out the content in June because that's my best month for YouTube views. So I probably won't be able to make it. Daniel, you going to be at Catapalooza?
I'll let you know soon.
Get your microphone
We have
on.
a scheduling conflict right now so we haven't registered yet, but if I can get that moved, then we are planning on being there.
Okay, there you go. Daniel might be, I probably won't be. Scroll back up, there we go. Anthony Burgess says, what would the buoyancy be if a fish was to pull in the water? Not that much buoyancy. You got a fish taking off with your rod, it's going to take off with the rod. Eric Romine says, comes with a rod sock. Heck yeah, it does. Yak and Sons says, hey Justin, congratulations on the new rod. Will these rods hold up in salt water? The metal pieces here are made from an aluminum alloy, so they're not going to rust, but like any other metal and salt, it's going to corrode. So you're going to need to take care of them. Rinse everything off if you use them in the salt, because you're going to get some corrosion. Michael says, how well do you think that rod will hold up against muskie? I think he'll do just fine with muskie. Yeah, muskie, stripers, catfish. It'll be good on all of them. Let me scroll on down. Boy, I've missed a bunch of comments. I'm so sorry here, y'all. Sean Abney says 7 online, 12 at door, 12 parking. I don't know what that means. I don't know the cost to get in here. I know they're charging though, and I had to go through a gate to get in here today, so undoubtedly somebody will be charging for parking out there. There's Steve, Adventure Outdoors, says 8 foot is long enough. I'll be surf fishing. My massive upper body strength, I'll be able to cast about 60% of my strength. Steve is a man's man, y'all. If you haven't checked him out, Adventure Outdoors there. He's got an awesome channel. Me and him, we've been friends for several years now. Hey, Brother Nature Fishing, join the Catfish Club. Glad to have you, man. Thanks for joining the club. You and the other fella there that joined, be sure to go to the community tab on the YouTube channel there. It's got some discount codes. Catfish Sumo gives you 15% off site-wide. That includes the new rods and free shipping. I've got discount codes for Mustad and all that's listed down there, you know, in that community post. So take advantage of those discounts for the club members. Glad to have you, man. Let's see. Brokeback Bob says, can't wait to watch the Golden Whisker Award Show. Yeah, man. It's going to be going on right over there tomorrow, 5 p.m. Tom Brown says we should get Steve Douglas to hold one of them. If he walks back through, we'll get him to do it. He's filming right now doing some stuff. Boost some advertisement there for the show. Well, how far behind am I on these comments? Let me scroll on down. Leonard Vaughn's been a member for 5 months. Thank you so much, Leonard. He says, hey, buddy, long time no see. Glad to see you there at CatCon. Hope everything goes well and that you have a lot of success with everything. Thank you so much, Leonard. That's really nice of you. I really appreciate you sticking with me so long. I know these winter months get tough. Christmas and holidays and whatnot, and then, you know, lack of content on my end because I'm a terrible wintertime fisherman. So thank you for sticking with me, Leonard. Old Man on the Hill says, does Catfish Sumo sell bidets? He should. That's been the best thing I've ever bought, man. I'll stand by those bidets. VTLV Fishing says, hey, much love from southern part of Texas, man. I'm hoping to make it down there later this fall. I'm going to try to do some Texas fishing. If I have a good year on YouTube, it's going to happen. Rustic Outdoors says, how will it hold up against 70-pound blues? It'll hold up just fine. You won't have any problems. It ain't going to snap on you. Spider Skull HD says he has the Chopstick 2.0. Is the tip action the same? Very comparable. Yeah, very comparable because I really liked that tip action of the 2.0. Anthony Burchett says, how much do they weigh? Are they heavy in the hands? They don't feel heavy to me. Daniel, do you know an exact weight off the top of your head? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But they don't feel like a real heavy rod. Jason Henderson says he can't wait. Be the first time for me and can't wait to get a selfie with you. Absolutely, man. Stop by the booth. We'll do pictures. We got that other part, the partition there set up for pics. And my first time up here too. So I'm excited to see how these shows work. There's Havoc Master 69 says, what was your biggest rush fish and biggest rush? I'll get it out directly, Havoc Master. What was your biggest rush fish, a catfish or a shark from Florida? Definitely the shark. Those sharks are so much fun. I can't wait to go back and do that. I had so much fun down there. I'm like, man, these guys in Florida, they don't like these sharks. They're missing out. So I was pumped for that. There's Sandra. My gosh, Florida Channel Catfishing, $100 says it's been a while. You usually go live on Friday when I'm fishing. Thank you so much, Sandra. Yeah, the live streams have kind of been put on hold lately. you know, inconsistent fishing for me. I hate to go out there and get skunked on a live stream. And, you know, too, this time of year, I just don't have a very large audience on regular videos or live streams. So we'll get the live streams going again here in the spring once fishing and views pick back up. But thank you so much for that, Sandra. That's so nice of you. Vanessa Baker says, can I see the rod again? I just got on. Yeah. Let me try to get it here in my hand. This has got the bank extension on here right now. It's currently 8-foot mode. Golly Whopper. Got the bright tips up there, so you're fishing at night. So I think the coloration on the rod's turned out really well. It's a really good looking rod. James Cardwell says, anyone who's watched your last couple videos will be wanting one of those rods. I think you hit a home run. Well, thank you, James. I think it's a home run. It's a home run for me. Now, whether or not there's a bunch of people out there that fish like I do, you know, kayak and boat and bank, I don't know. We'll see. But it's a good rod for me for the type of fishing I do. There's Callie back with $20. Says, I wish these events were closer to me. Nothing ever comes to North Dakota. Would love to meet you eventually, but there's a lot of miles between here and there. Well, thank you for that, Callie. Yeah, we'll eventually link up. I'll make my way out west at some point in time, and we'll be able to get a little closer than Kentucky. There is something that comes to North Dakota up there, Callie. Snow. Y'all get a lot of that. Lake Sam Rayburn Crappie King says he thinks it's going to be a big seller. I hope you're right, man. Lacey Gearhart's going to hook me up with some hunting, crabbing, and fishing in Maryland. Well, thanks. If I'm ever up there, I'll keep you in mind. I'm going to try to go to Texas later on this fall. I'd like to go back to Florida in the winter, maybe hook up with Elias V Fishing and go to the Keys down there. We're in talks with that for January, February-ish. And so I've got some other shorter trips planned in the meantime too. So don't know if I'll make it up to Maryland anytime soon, but nice. I got it all live, Daniel. You're live. Catfish owner. No, no cutting. Let's see what all you've tore up over here. What kind of damage did you do? Live on video. You got some reel boxes, fishing. Well, yeah, you can't say these products haven't been tested because, by gosh, plus at least, yeah. Well, I about tripped over that too. My gosh, I hope he's got workers' comp up in here if I bust my tail. Let's see. There's Ed back with another $9.99. Says, do rod tips glow in the dark? Daniel, when you're done putting this back together, let me bring you a microphone. People want to hear about the tips. People want to hear about the tips.
They have a guide at the top of them. They have an eye up at the top.
He's got jokes, folks. He's got jokes.
Was it like, do they glow like flashlight? So if you're asking, like, can you shine a flashlight on it and then it glows after that? No, but they do slightly reflective under light, and then under black light they glow bright. So if you're a black light guy, definitely.
There you go. I'll take the microphone back, Daniel. We're keeping the microphone off of him in case, he has a little cuss word episode or something like that. When something like that happens, you never know. He's having to work. The plan was to have all this set up, and him and I go, have a nice table here, a little sit down. Come to find out, setting up these booths takes longer than we anticipated. Plus, it took longer to get up here today than we anticipated. Thank you again, though, for that, Ed. I appreciate you. Ed's been a supporter of me from way back, a long time ago, back when I was selling merchandise on my own on the website. Ed was a fan back then. There's Casey Catfishing with the conference info. Appreciate that, man. That damn fishing guy says next time you go shark fishing, you should take your signature rod. Absolutely, yeah. I'll do that. Christopher Brody says, have you ever ran into a member of your channel while catfishing and catfish together? Yeah, I mean, I've ran into, I don't know about channel members per se, but I've ran into a lot of viewers out on the water. I see people regularly out there. There's Brother Nature Fishing, $5 has just joined the club. I've been catching so many cats since I started watching you. Appreciate what you do, sir. Well, thank you, Brother Nature. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining the club. Richard Martinez says, I do mostly bank fish. Can't wait to get mine from the pre-sale. Yeah, man, it's on the way. Thank you for buying. Oh, this is a great question here. Hold on. That's probably picking up on the camera. They're rolling something down the hallway here. And I'm going to answer Stony Avant's question, because he's got a great question I knew would get brought up. He says, so what happened to your stand from 2 years ago about not needing an $80 rod to fish with and not selling out to these big companies? No disrespect. I'm wondering why the sudden change. So I'll stand by that. Yeah, absolutely. And to tell you the truth, you don't need an $80 rod. Fact is, you don't need any rod at all. You can go out there with jugs and some fishing line and hooks, and you don't need a rod to catch catfish. If you got a line in the water with some cut bait or live bait, you're going to catch some cats. So you don't. As far as the rods goes, I use those clearance rack $7 Academy rods all summer, just simply to prove the point that you don't need these $80+ catfish rods. So I stand by it. You don't need this stuff to catch fish. It's not, a rod is not going to help you catch fish. Putting your bait in the right spot at the right depth at the right time is what's going to catch you fish. And I don't care what any gear manufacturer says, that's the truth. But if you want a nice rod and you want a rod that's made from better quality components that's going to, hold up over a longer period of time, then I wanted to work with Catfish Sumo here and build a rod that's good for all of us. The other thing about this, as far as the cost goes on these rods, I know there's a big sticker price on these rods, but it replaces 3 rods. So when you look at it from that aspect, it's not nearly as expensive. Now, you could go out and you could buy, some surf rods and some rods for the boat, and you could cut the handles down and make them appropriate for kayaks. But that's a big expense. And then what are you going to do about reels? Are you going to just switch your reels out constantly, or are you going to put them on or get reels for each combo? So this rod ends up saving you money in the long run, even though it's got a big sticker price up front. But to answer Stoney's question, yeah, those videos, they're staying on YouTube because it's the damn truth. You don't need an expensive rod to catch fish. Scroll on down. Old man on the hill says he sees a new sale coming tomorrow, the damage sale. Yeah. Rushing through here, we're going to have some more incidents tonight. I can feel it. Yeah, and flat rock flatheads, if I can get my words out. He says, Stoney, he's friends with the owner of Catfish Sumo. Sumo sponsors him, and now he has a signature rod. And that's the thing, guys. This rod, my signature rod here, Kayak Boat Bank, 3 links, 1 rod, it doesn't exist. It's not like we're, taking a random rod, stamping my name on it, and jacking up the price. It's not, necessarily me selling out. Me joining Catfish Sumo helped get this rod made. It's a rod that I've wanted for years. And like I said in a story earlier in this live stream, I pitched this idea before and was flat out told that I wasn't worth his time, that they would never turn a profit on it. And so, my deal here with the YouTube channel getting bigger and growing and more people kayak catfishing just opened up these doors, and it's allowing a product like this to get made. And again, it's one of a kind. You come in here, there's rods all over the catfish conference here. All these booths have all these rods. They got all these fancy colors. Damn near all of them you're going to see are 7.5 foot long, medium heavy rods with a longer handle. Even the other kayak catfishing rods that companies are coming out with, they're just a shorter rod with the same long handle. I don't want a short rod fishing out of a kayak, because the way I fish, the shorter the rod is, the closer your baits are together, you're going to end up with more tangles. And I get a fair amount of tangles even with a 7-foot rod. So I don't understand the concept of some of these other kayak catfishing rods. And then again, the long handle makes no sense when you're sitting down. So this rod that we have here, the Golly Whopper, only one like it on the catfish market. There'll be more next year. You know, there'll be some other companies undoubtedly, you know, tinker with the design and whatnot and come out with their own version of it. But right now, this is one of a kind, and it's all due to my deal here with Catfish Sumo. Let's see, JB Shaw says, are they available online? Yes, they are. Catfishsumo.com/Golly Whopper. Hey, Tom Wascom, I'm finally going to meet you, man. See you tomorrow, buddy. Scroll on down here. Hey, there's Nikki Hayes. What's going on, Nikki? Hope you can make it over here, Nikki. I don't know if you're coming or not. Catfish Morgan says, when is he going to make a 2-piece rod that changes light, medium? He has a 2-piece rod, the original chopstick, that's a lighter action rod that might be what you're looking for. Chasing Trophy says, thank you for the congrats. Been using Sumo rods for almost 2 years now. Love them and plan on adding your rods to the lineup. Well, thanks, man. Dale Hayslip says, did not hear earlier the rod is spinning and casting. Yes, it is. We covered that earlier in the stream, so go back and check that out. But yeah, Daniel over here explained that we wanted this rod to be for both spinning and casting people. We didn't want to just limit it to one or the other. Anthony Burchett says, how would a person go about getting sponsored by Catfish Sumo?
Lots of begging.
What? Lots of begging. It's me on my hands and knees,
begging
Daniel.
For years.
Please, Daniel. Please. Yeah, that's how it takes.
No. So the very short answer is, if you go to our website, down at the bottom, there's an application if you want to be considered for an influencer position. The slightly longer answer is that we're really selective about who we work with. We're not looking for anybody who just wants to go shove our rods out on their boat and go pump them in exchange for free gear. That's why you guys probably remember, if you're an earlier viewer of Justin, that he what's a nice way? Just saying.
I don't generally say things nice
Very
ways.
critical of anybody who'll just accept a sticker and go push a brand. So I mean, we knew each other for years before we finally decided what's a way that we can work together that's a way to help the audience, not just put money in pockets or whatever, but actually be able to come up with good stuff to be able to help people. So that's the longer answer is, if you want to be considered, go fill out the application, but you better be thinking of some ideas about how you and us working together can help the catfishing community.
Yeah, that's one of the things, when I went full-time on YouTube, when you have to start thinking about things, not just going fishing and having fun, you got to start thinking about things from a business perspective. How can I keep the lights on? How can I pay my bills? And so I had to start looking for outside sources of revenue. And I talked to some other rod companies, and when you've got a YouTube channel with the views that I get, they'll all give you free rods, man. They'll send you whatever you want. But I don't want to be just another face on their website. I don't want to be just another product pitch man selling gear and selling their stuff in exchange for some free rods. That ain't me. I wanted to work with a company who was willing to do this right here. Not just put my name on some random rod, change the color, and call it a day, jack up the price. I wanted a rod that was built for me, for my audience, for my people, for those of us that just don't fit that cookie cutter mold that needs a 7.5-foot medium heavy rod made for standing up and fishing out of a boat. And Daniel was willing to do that. And, from the time I started working with him, I'm like, this is what I want. And, he had all these computer designs drawn up. He says, yeah, we can do this. And I'm like, yes. So, yeah, I even forgot what we were talking about. I went so far off on a tangent. Let me just get back to the questions here. Let's see, scrolling on down. Patrick Easter says, can't wait to meet you in person and take home a few of your signature rods. Been a subscriber from the beginning. Awesome, man. You've been with me a long time. So do the handle attachments come loose when casting, and will the eyes hold up the braid? The eyes will hold up the braid. The handle attachments, they screw together pretty tight. They're not coming loose on me. So I don't think you'll have any issues with them. I'm going to scroll on down. I've missed a bunch more comments, y'all. I'm sorry. There's Callie back with $20. Says, all great inventions come from challenging conventions. Times are changing. If you want to stay alive in your industry, you got to adapt. That's the truth. Thank you so much for that, Callie. Yeah, you know, as far as changing and stuff, I mean, again, the reason when you walk through the conference tomorrow and you see all these rods that are 7.5 foot long, with a longer handle made for standing up, the reason that all these companies are selling those rods is because that's where the most demand is. That's how most people fish. And so it's to their benefit to make those kind of rods. It's going to appeal to the most people, get the most sales, most profits for their bottom line. And you know, Daniel, Catfish Sumo, they took a big risk on making this rod because there's no comp. There's not like we can say, well, you know, this company and this company, they make this kind of rod, and we kind of know the feedback, you know, we know how many sales they're getting. It's one of a kind. You know, this could totally flop and you know, be a big hit to their bottom line. So they took a big risk on it, and you know, again, you can't hit home runs if you don't step up to the plate and take your swings. Catfish Sumo is doing that. Billy Martin says, what's the times for CatCon? Honestly, I don't know. I got to look it up myself, see what time I got to be here tomorrow. Ting Tan Rainbow says, is there an extra heavy rod that would work for snagging? This rod is not going to be suitable for snagging. The Elite 150 would, because that's a real, I mean, I just took that thing shark fishing a few weeks ago. That would be a great snagging rod. Brokeback Bob says, people who just push a product for free gear bounce around from one client to, that's the thing. Yeah, and that's why Pro Staff's kind of, you know, Catfish Sumo's not really doing that, because there is a lot of flip-flop, and you know, I know him well enough to know he's got my back, and he knows me well enough to know I got his back. So if things go wrong, you know, we're not going to bail on each other. So Jamie B. Fishing says, be careful if you're fishing the river. Yeah, I won't be out in the river here. Everything's flooded up here. Let's see. Let me scroll. I think I missed another super chat up here. Did I? If I've missed anybody's super chat, I apologize. I have went through these comments pretty quick in here. It's you know, we're getting, most of these booths are already set up. We're supposed to be out of here at 6 o'clock. We're not going to be out here at 6. We're going to be here a while. These people must have got here early. But yeah, so I was kind of in a rush. I hope y'all have been able to hear me. Brought in the good mics tonight. You know, because there's always background. Every time you watch a YouTube video on trade shows and stuff, there's always all this background noise. You can't ever hear the people talking. So I hope we've been able to do that. But this one to come on here and do, you know, Q&A, try to answer any questions we have about the rods versus me typing out responses to everybody on the YouTube and Facebook and stuff. And, you know, have the owner here for any technical stuff, you know, that I may not know the answer to. So, whoa, Billy Martin, $10 there. Thank you, Billy. Says, thanks for all your great content. Well, thank you, Billy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching it. Let's see here. Boy, I've missed a bunch. I apologize for all the comments I've missed. Sean Silly. I always mispronounce it. Sean, Chili or Silly? I can't ever remember, Sean. I'm so sorry. He says, love your vision and collaboration with Daniel. Do you include a case or bag for the handles and rod? Yeah, so the rods all come with a rod sleeve here that goes over the guides. And then the rods, if you order them online, and you can have them here too. Yeah, they come in a sleeve like that. And then the bank extension handles come in their own sleeve too. So that's what you'll get if you order online. If you buy one here and you want one of those, let us know, and we can send you home with one. We just took them out of those sleeves. They come from the factory in those sleeves, and we took them out here for display purposes. And we'll have all these undone here tomorrow. I was hoping, the manual labor would be done by the time I got done with this live stream, because I'm not really the manual labor kind of guy, but I think they're dragging their feet here just so that I'll have to do some work. He's going to try to make me earn that paycheck. James Shuey says, does Daniel have a store people can walk into and visit to buy rods and other gear? Not currently, but it may be a potential there at your new place down there in Chattanooga, right?
And if somebody really wants to see one, if you really want to see something, we don't have a retail store set up right now, but we do have an office that you're welcome to come by. Just send us an email through the website ahead of time, and we'll make sure that somebody's there to meet you and has gear up for you.
Yeah, they got a real nice building. Like I said, I was down there filming for another project, and it's a pretty buttoned up operation they got down there in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They just moved into that new warehouse, I think within the last couple months, and they really got it set up nice. Dale says he's going to be ordering some. Thanks, Dale. Jake Nostali says, me and my father-in-law purchased kayaks entirely due to watching your channel. Well, that's awesome. I hope you're enjoying them. Spider Skull HD says, just bought a rod, Justin. It'll look good with the catfish hat. Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. I hope you enjoy that rod and catch some big fish on it. Augustin Pedraza says, wish I could buy one now, but I have my first son on the way in about a month. Yeah, you need to be buying diapers and baby wipes, not fishing rods. Tom Cano. I'm butchering it, Tom. I'm so sorry. Daniel, he wants to know, what is the blank made out of? That's a good technical question for you.
It is an S-glass fiberglass.
There you go.
Woven, multi-level or multi-layer, and the crisscross in between. So, that's how you get the heavy backbone in the middle.
All right. There you go. Hopefully that was the answer you were looking for. I don't know all the technical stuff. I don't build rods. I just fish with them. Steve Sellers says, can't wait to meet you and hope to pick your brain and buy some Golly Whoppers. Absolutely, man. I'll be here all day, both days. 2005 Ford Mustang says, how far do you live from Roane County Highway 70? I don't know, 20 minutes or so probably. James Shuey says, thank you, Justin. Dan, you guys are awesome. Really appreciate both of you. Thank you, James. Robert McLaughlin says, can you show off the new rod for those of us who just joined? Absolutely. So right now we've got the bank extension on, 8 foot long. It can be 7, 7.5, or 8, depending on kayak, boat, or bank. It's not showing up real good on there in frame. Black and red, bright tip there for fishing at night. Pretty good looking rod. We're pretty proud of it. Also, too, I forgot to mention, I haven't asked Daniel. I'm sure he'll be okay with it. I have some dragging sinkers. So I got into dragging, back 2017, 2018. There's a book on Amazon, instruction how I make my dragging sinkers. And I bought a bunch of supplies, made up a bunch of sinkers with the thought that I would sell them on my website. Well, it just wasn't cost effective to ship them. So I never did. They've been sitting out in my shed for the last 2 or 3 years now, 4 years, however the heck long it's been. I've got a lifetime supply. I've brought some extras with me. I think I got 50 or 60. I just grabbed a bunch, stuck them in a bucket. However many I could fit in a 5-gallon bucket, I've brought. So they're my long, 30-inch long dragging sinkers. I'll have them available here in the booth if you're interested in those, first come, first serve. I don't know if they'll sell out or if they'll sell any, but I'll have them here, assuming Daniel's okay with it, and we'll just won't tell him about it. I'll have them under the table or something. That'll be between me and you. He won't know But I'm selling outside Catfish Sumo products.
As long as they bring a cheeseburger, I don't care.
Logan Jordan says, anybody have any advice on how to treat yourself better? That's some life coaching advice right there he's needing. Denny Ransom's the guy for that. Christopher Brody says, what reel would you personally recommend pairing with these Sumo rods? You know, any reel will work fine with them. You know, reels are kind of a personal preference thing. I've been a big fan of the Daiwa Seagates for a while, and I recently switched to the Shimano Dakota, and I like those. You know, they're two totally different reels, level line, non-level line. One's a larger round reel, the other's kind of lower profile. Both expensive though, but you know, Daniel's got a good reel here, the Catfish Sumo reel. Abu Garcia's a good reel. There's a lot of great reels in the market, but you know, it's tough for me to tell just because everybody's needs are different. I like a higher gear ratio. I like to be taking up some line if I'm casting baits out, if I'm dragging. Some people don't care about that, so really just comes down to your personal preference. Let's see. Jerry Ward was asking about the Shimano reel. Hopefully I just answered that. Lake Sam Rayburn Crappie King says, are they made in the USA? They are not. These rods would not be $129 if they were made here. That's for sure. No, and even if a rod is made here, the components don't come from America. I hate to bust people's bubbles on that, but the glues, the epoxies, the clear coats, the foam for the handles, that stuff comes from all over the world. Steve says, oh my God, I want some dragging sinkers. By gosh, come get you some. I'd love to sell them because they just been sitting in my shed and I made so many. And you just don't lose them very often, you know. That's the thing. That's why I made them the way I did fishing out of kayak. I don't like getting snagged up. And so you don't lose them, and therefore I don't need however the hell many I got in my shed back home. Russell St. Pierre says, are you a sponsor for Tushy Toilet Seat yet? I wish they were paying me. I'm a big believer in their product. Lake Sam Rayburn says, nothing is full USA, and that's a shame. I agree. You know, I wish it was possible. But, you know, it's even like we were talking earlier, the extension pieces for the bank surf rod attachment there, that jacked up our cost so much because of the length. We had to, you know, we have to get a whole separate blank. So we basically got to pay for 2 blanks to make one rod, and it's just, everything's gone up in price too with the pandemic and shortages on supplies, and that really delayed us getting some of the prototypes too to be able to put them through the paces the last few months was, you know, all this pandemic stuff. So Andy McKenzie says, just received my chopstick Sumo rod and reel combo, landed your favorite channel cat 10-pounder out in California. That's a nice size catch out there. Hey man, congrats on that. We don't normally catch 10-pound channels where I'm from. So that's a nice size channel cat. David Crum, I'm butchering your name too, David, I'm sorry. He says, besides your own and the Mojo Cat, every single rod company has the same rods with different colors. And USA rods are possible, but Catfish guys are going to pay $300 for a rod. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's, you know, you run into the labor cost here. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's the damn truth. Labor costs here are high, and then you know, you still have to import everything, all the materials. And as far as the other rod companies, yeah, I mean, most of these other rods, don't get me wrong, they're nice. These other brands, they put out good quality rods. They're all nice rods, serve a purpose, be great if you have them, but most of them are 7.5 foot long with the same size handle, just different colors, different action, different name on the logo. That's all it is. Sean's name's like chili. I knew that, Sean. I knew it. I'm terrible with names. I'm such a bad person with names. Farron Maston says a friend of mine is buying him his first kayak, an Old Town Sportsman PDL. He's going to love it. He is going to love it. Those are great kayaks. Jason Smith says, what gear ratio do you prefer in your reels? I like a fast line retriever, higher gear ratio. My Daiwa Seagates are 48 inches per handle turn. My new Shimano's are 38 inches. I think the Catfish Sumo reels 24, 26 inches per handle turn. I think Abu Garcia is the same. So I like that higher speed. G-Style Fishing says, could you show how much flex the new rods have? My recent videos will probably be the best way to see that, like see the rods in action as far as seeing the flex in them. I've got my two most recent videos, one out of a kayak and one off the bank, to try to show the rods in each method. Josie, the Texas legend, says, hey J-Dog, why are you calling my PB a dink? That's a good one, man. I hear that a lot. His dink is my personal best. It's all about where you fish. It's all a matter of perspective. Harry said I should be in the kayak. It don't feel natural. You know, I'm a very introverted person, so I've got a little anxiety about the next two. I'm excited about it. Excited to meet people and, you know, get some faces with all the names and you know, all the people I've met through this YouTube channel. That's going to be fun, but the introvert in me is very anxious about the next 2 days and being around crowds and all these people. That's not really my style, but we're gonna go with it. We're gonna have a good time. Spider Skull HD says, Justin, it said it was $19.99 for a bank handle. Was that an option? Yes. So the rods are standard with the kayak and come with the boat, and then the bank extension is extra because, you know, we get a big extra fee. You know, again, we have to buy 2 blanks and we have to unfortunately have to pass on some of that cost. But the other thing is a lot of people aren't going to use the bank extension. They're just not. And so we didn't want to increase the overall cost of the rod and have all 3 handle options when some people just aren't going to use it. So that's why we did things the way we did. I wish we could get all of the pieces and have it at a much lower price, but that's just not, unfortunately, it's just not going to be possible. Let's see, Ryan Walsh from Clarksville, Tennessee. Says, congratulations, seen a ton of my videos. Thank you so much, Ryan. Lake Sam Rayburn Crappie King says, just keep your hand on your head just in case. I don't like crowds either. Yeah, we'll make it work this weekend. We're going to have some fun. Eric Flowers is trying to get my wife to order me one. Do you have a spinning version for my big pin reels? Yeah, Eric, so these rods can be used casting or spinning. We covered that earlier in the stream there. Daniel did a real good job of going over, you know, the spinning and casting and why these rods are special and can do both. So check that out there. Eddie Fife says, what's the action of the rod? It's a medium heavy action. It's got enough backbone for big fish, but it's still enough tip that 5-10 pounders are fun to catch. So listen, guys, looks like we're about 73 minutes in. I think I've got through most of the questions. I think you all have done real good asking me questions that, you know, if it was me looking at a rod, I would want to know. So hopefully it'll be helpful to people that may be catching this live stream after the fact. But we have got a lot of work to do. We are still getting the booth set up here. We were supposed to be out of here by 6. It's well beyond 6 now. We're going to be burning the midnight oil. I'm charging him overtime because, you know, I'm union up in here. You hear that, Daniel? I've joined a union since I walked through that door, so I got rights. I'm going to need a lunch break, overtime. I need all that. But we got a lot of work to do here. But for those of y'all that can't make it here to the conference, I wish you could. I'd love to meet you. We're going to have a dang nice booth here. I was hoping to show it off in the live stream, but it's going to look good once it's set up. We got a nice backdrop there, my area over here. We're going to have, for those of you just tuning in, we'll have a photo area if you got You know, if you want a selfie, if you got your kids here, you want to get a picture or whatever, we can come over here, have a nice backdrop, you know, for pictures and stuff. Catfish Sumo will have all of their other products here. It's got the rattle and line floats. Over here we got one of my favorite things that I use for catching skipjack a lot, the Sumo spoons. Excellent, excellent skipjack catcher. He's got them in the single prong and the double prong, any color that you would want. This, we done sold out here apparently. There ain't nothing on that side. He's got his reels, Catfish Sumo reels. We got some Kayak Catfish hats, log books. He's got a bunch of hooks, the starter kits. This is something else that's pretty cool he's come out with recently. Let me get this one. That one's. These are pre-tied leaders. So these are, Daniel, do you have your new hangry hooks and the pre-tied leaders yet? They're on the way. They're not here now. Okay. Well, damn FedEx. But he's got his hooks here pre-tied leaders. These are pretty awesome. Saves you a lot of time having to, every winter I sit down and I tie leaders on some rainy or snowy day for the upcoming year. So that's a big help. And his new hooks, the hangry hooks he just come out with, I use them down there in Florida to catch sharks with. Great hooks. They're going to be in the pre-tied leader version also. They're just, apparently it was delivered to Chattanooga today while they were on their way up here. So.
Hey, Daniel. Yes, sir. This is my partner, Perfect.
Okay, well there's the boss here back. I'm going to wrap this up, guys, and we're going to have a good 2 days here. I'll kind of show you around here, a little panoramic. For anybody that can't make it, there's a ton of vendors in here. This goes well beyond all the way down through there. A bunch of boats over here for the boat guys, Sea Arc and all them. So any company that you would want to buy something from, anything in catfish market, rods, reels, hooks, anchors, it's here. It's in Louisville, Kentucky, all under one roof. So if you're in the area, if you can make the drive, I'd encourage you to come out. And again, I'd love to meet you. So I hope I haven't missed anybody's super chat. There's Callie back with another 5. Says, good luck with the crowds. Have fun meeting fans and sell some rods. Thank you, Callie. Thank you for all your support. Thank you to everybody who has pre-ordered rods. We've had a bunch of pre-orders, and it kind of blows my mind. I mean, I hope they would sell. You know, I want it to do good, not just for you all out there that fish like me, but also for Catfish Sumo. They've made a big investment in me, and I hope it pays off for them. So thank you. Thank you to everybody who's pre-ordered. Thank you for everybody who's planning on buying this weekend. And I'm going to wrap this up, and I guess a lot of you I'm going to see bright and early in the morning. Anyway, guys, y'all have a good night. Be safe if you're driving here. It's pouring down rain out there right now, or it was when we come in. So be safe tomorrow, and I'll see you this weekend.